BSing with
Who?
BSing with
What?
BSing with Sean K. BSing with
Who?
BSing with
What?
BSing with Sean K. BSing with
Who?
BSing with
What?
BSing with Sean K. BSing with Sean K.
Welcome to another episode of BSing with Sean K. I'm your host, Sean Kneese, and for this episode 46, I'm going to play you an interview I did with Dylan Young. He's a folk singer and songwriter, and he's based out of New Jersey, and he recently released his debut album entitled How It Felt, which is available on iTunes. And here's the interview. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I guess just first you want to introduce yourself and just talk about your music and the style you do and everything.
Yeah. My name is Dylan Young. I'm based out of the East Coast. I jump up and down Jersey for music, for school, rehearsals, etc. As far as my music goes, I just released my first album. It's been dope. It's such a great experience. I wrote and recorded it when I was like 19 with Adam Sachaki at Timber Studios. Phenomenal producer. His ears are amazing, and he did a lot of the instrumental stuff on the record, from drums to bass to adding additional guitars. He really changed that album. He took the songs I had and just created these like whoosh, like I never could imagine what they'd be without him on that record. But as far as describing my music, my buddy sent me this. Like he described it, and I just want to read it because I like it. It's funny if I can find it. But otherwise, how are you?
Pretty good. Just chilling. How you doing?
Just hanging. It's
Yeah.
Sunday. Day
Yeah.
for sure.
Sunday morning interview.
Yeah. It's a good. This is the ideal day to interview someone because it's like they're not stressed from the work week, and like Friday and Saturday was like all right, let's chill, and now it's like I'm coming back to earth and ready to talk about shit.
Yeah.
But this is how my buddy described the album. He said, angsty, dark blue colored rock sound with sad white boy soul and Springsteen-esque flavors and slight country tang with a pinch of the Ramones. And that's it. So I'm going to go with his description. I don't know. It's always weird when you ask someone to describe their own music.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That makes sense. Yeah. So, how's these songs have been written over like a couple of years, like since you started until now, and how long have these?
Well, I mean, I'm 22 now. I wrote them when I was 19, so it's kind of originally I was going to call the release "How It Feels," because that's how I was feeling, you know. But then years go by, you have some life experiences, and you change, you grow, and the stuff I've been writing since then is a lot different. So it's like I had to change it to How It Felt because I don't think it represents me as a person / an artist. So yeah, I wrapped that in 2014. I sat on it for a long time. I got it remixed a couple times. I didn't feel quite right just yet, and then finally everything came together, and I linked up with this great engineer from Philadelphia. That's where I go to school, and he made it sound how I wanted it to hear, and then I finally felt comfortable to release it. But yeah, so it's been like 2-3 years, almost 3 years, so it's crazy.
And what's it been like getting it out there and promoting it and everything?
The response has been amazing. When initially I was releasing like one song a week or one song every other week, and that got some engagement, and I did a lot of videos for it, a lot of visuals, but I found that releasing the full work, the response was a lot bigger, and just people sharing it, random people just, hey man, I fucking love it. I was like, oh shit, like I didn't expect that at all, so it feels good, you know.
And I guess what else is going on show-wise and everything else?
Show-wise, I have this coming next Sunday, or would you say this Sunday? I guess not, because we're in Sunday now. Fuck. So Sunday, July 3rd, I'm playing in New Brunswick. That'll be a fun show. And then I'm doing the Meat Locker on the 12th. So just I try to get as many solo performances as I can, because that's where I think my performance is strongest. And So I like doing that. So this is some July stuff. And
And I guess what got you interested in music in the first place?
fucking, I remember being like 11, 12, and I was really obsessed with Cody and Cambria, and I'd play air guitar all the time. I was like, and my dad wanted me to get a real guitar, so I was like, all right. I did it for like maybe 6 months, and then I broke my wrist, and I didn't play for like a year or two. And then I got back into it kind of, and then I got really into fighting for 2.5 years. I was really into Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and wrestling. This is when I was still in high school, so I kind of had that time and less responsibility. But then I realized, music is where I want to be, so I went back into that, and I started rapping. I was like 17. I was a white rapper for like 8 months. Bleh. But that was like my first like venture into writing original music as opposed to playing covers. Because for a while, I was just doing like Sweet 16s. We would do like Blink 182 tributes and shit like that. It was fun, but I mean, that was kind of building blocks. But anyway, so then I did that white rapper thing for like 8 months. I couldn't take myself seriously anymore. So then I evolved into, I joined Ola Madrid, and it was like this more harder punk band. I did the clean vocals, whereas the other singer, he did like the yelling, kind of like maybe Alexis on Fire, Touche more like that style of yelling. So that we had kind of a falling out, and that's when I decided, okay, I'm gonna do the solo thing. And here I am today. So maybe I've been playing music since I was 13, I want to say, so about 9 years.
And how does it differ, like, with the different genres you play? How's the experience change, I guess, live and practicing everything else?
Practice was different. When I was a white rapper, I had these two bandmates that were already in a band, so it was kind of when they could practice, we would practice and write and do that. And that was probably the most fun I had because I was really inspired by Tyler, the Creator. That's when he emerged with, he dropped Goblin, I think, with Yonkers, and he blew up. And so I was channeling a lot of that energy. So the performances were so much fun. I'd lose my shit. And then Ola Madrid was harder, so I loved performing with that. And we rented out a studio. If you ever heard of Pearl Studios in like West New York, Union City area.
I think I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, like big, huge like rehearsal studios. This guy has like 3 locations scattered throughout that Hudson County area. So we essentially like lived there. I remember my bassist and I would show up early. We'd roll and smoke a blunt, and then the rest of our band would come and we'd play for a little bit. And we did a lot of shows. I don't know. That was like me learning the growing pains of being in a band, like overbooking or playing shows that aren't really worth it. So it was a great experience in terms of that, and definitely influenced me. And wanting to go solo just because it's difficult dealing with a band, you know?
Yeah. Getting everybody together and everything.
Dealing with the schedules. Yeah. Some people are on different pages, you know, so it's difficult, man. I have a lot of respect for people who really pursue that, and when they're all together and it's like, yo, we're trying to do this. Shout out to Help Me Help You, if you heard of them. Great band. I just saw them perform last night. They have some side project, Wheel and Frame. Great guys, though. But the whole point of this comment is that they originally were scattered between New Jersey and New York, but now they're all living in New York and they're really going for it. And great guys, man. So it's admirable to see that, in other words.
So you wanted to go solo so you could just kind of, I guess, get out and do it and not worry about getting everybody else together on schedule and everything?
Well, I mean, I get to do it at my own pace. You know, if I want to do a show, I'm going to do a show. I don't have to text like 3 people. Hey, man, are you free? Creatively, you know, you don't have to worry about getting challenged. And that's not to say that, you know, oh, I don't like when people question my shit, but it's just like I can go with the sound and I could stay with it. Whereas in a band, you'll throw an idea in, but then you get like different twists on it. And then, I don't know, the writing process is fun, but I think it's best reserved for by yourself. But I mean, writing with the band is also good because, you know, you learn a lot. You know, people look at songs differently and they hear things that you might not hear. So just the pros and cons.
And you were saying with the finished album, like other people added to it, so it was sort of like playing with a band in some ways in the end, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had kind of initially how I wanted it to hear in my head with the drums and stuff. So I'd be like, oh, dude, something like this, and then he would do that, but he would like Adam would like surpass my expectations. Adam's a freak of fucking nature. Let's talk about Adam for 1 second, dude. Plays hella instruments, drums, bass, guitar, violin, just everything, man. Keys. He's just one of those dudes, you know. super talented guy. But like our process in the studio was this, where I'd lay down the acoustic track and the vocal, because I would want him to kind of feed off the energy of my vocal, to really carry it. Because drums are fucking important, man.
Yeah.
Especially after playing with Adam. Like I've done some live performances where I get a full band behind me, but like some drummers just don't have it, and Adam does, and the difference is immense. So it was interesting. But yeah, no, working with him is amazing. Super chill guy too. Really likes pulled pork. His studio is based out of Bayonne. So if you record there, you always have to get fucking Bayonne barbecue, pulled pork sandwich. Iconic. It's like you break for lunch and then you like pass out for like 45 minutes. Hopefully you get back to recording. But yeah, working with him is amazing. Yeah, I wouldn't compare it to a band thing. I mean, he's a producer, so he's going to throw in his input like, hey, let's try this. I'm like, yeah. But it's less, I guess, it's less of a conflict, I think, working with a producer, whereas working with a band. Because with bands, there's egos and they clash sometimes, But great experience working with him.
And I guess what's it been like playing live around here, and how would you describe your experience, I guess, with the New Jersey music scene?
NJ's like what I found with New Jersey is that it's very inclusive. Super nice people. Very rarely have I dealt with that, ego, I'm better than blah. But so I love New Jersey for that reason. Specifically Montclair has always been good to me. Philly, I can't break into that scene. I found it to be the DIY local scene is very exclusive and very cliquey, and I'm just like, why? Like, it's interesting. I don't get it, but yeah, New Jersey is really good for local music, honestly.
When I wonder if it would be like a similar perspective, like someone coming from elsewhere, trying to break into New Jersey. Maybe that's more, I guess, your perspective since you're from New Jersey. Sure. Yeah, and so maybe someone from Philly coming here would have a similar perspective. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I would hope not. But
yeah.
No. Where are you based out of, by the way?
New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But no, I mean, Christopher Stilmeck, huge booker in the DIY scene. He's always bringing really good touring bands in. So I think as long as bands reach out to people like Chris in terms of coming to New Jersey, they'll have a great experience. He's a good dude. He gets crowds in. He curates just amazing lineups. Because, sometimes you go to a local show. Like, I would almost compare going to a local show like thrifting. Like, it's like 90% shit, but then that 10% of shit you find is amazing.
Yeah.
But you don't have that experience with Chris's shows, which is really good. Smart guy.
Yeah. Do you feel like enough people are checking out local music these days, or?
It's debatable. I think going to a local show requires you going out of your comfort zone. And I think to some people that's intimidating. But also some people just be jaded, they maybe went to one local show and it was kind of just, and it turned them off from it completely, I think it's just, it's about bringing friends in and trying to establish a community. I wish more people would check out local music, because we need that. But it seems that today the internet is a better way to get yourself out there. And then shows kind of just adds on to it. It gives you a sense of credibility, oh, he's performing here and there, and oh, wow. But I found the internet to be a massively important tool in terms of building a platform for yourself as an artist and anything, business,
So, I guess, what are some shows you have planned for the future?
I want to, this summer I'm kind of more focusing on traveling as opposed to touring. I just came back from the West Coast a couple weeks ago. Fucking LA changed my life, man. I don't know if you've ever been to the West Coast, but
I've been to Portland. That's
that sounds good. I've been to Portland out, but check out LA, man. You gotta get out there, man. But then I'm doing Germany in August as well, so I'm kind of more saving up for that. But I think I'm considering either a winter or summer tour where I want to save up so I can get a consistent lineup for that. Maybe like 2 or 3 other people, be able to compensate them, So that's more like the big plan. But in the meantime, just focusing on just online, creating conversation with people. I had this viral tweet that literally just changed everything. Stupid, man. Some stupid thought I had. It was about Xanax. It was like, remember when Take a Chill Pill was just a saying, but now everyone's addicted to Xanax, so never mind. And that shit, just some stupid thought I had on a bus, and it fucking blew the fuck up. My followers doubled on Twitter. Facebook, I have like 1,000 friend requests, etc. But the point is, I have all these eyes on me, and now more than ever, people are clicking on my shit. They're engaging it, so it's like it's been such a blessing in terms of getting my music out there. My site visits shot up, my streams have been going up just because of some dumb thought.
So you mean you would just post something totally unrelated to your music and it would draw attention to your music?
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's insane. It's insane what takes off and what doesn't.
Yeah.
The effect of it, you know.
I guess Twitter's probably a little better than Facebook with that because it's more people, anybody you don't know can find your tweet. But Facebook's, I guess, is more just people you already know. So,
well, that's the thing too, though. It blew up on Facebook because I took a screenshot of it because, like, as a joke, it had like at the point maybe 500 retweets. And I was like, "Oh, see you guys later. I'm famous now, haha." But someone retweeted that screenshot, and then it got like 50K shares on Facebook. It just blew up there too.
Oh
so
wow!
That's why I got all those friend requests. It's like fuck. And then fuck Jerry. I don't know if you know that page. He reposted it and he credited me, which was dope. So shout out to fuck Jerry. But then like Sarcasm Only and World Star stole my tweet, so fuck them. No credit.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to post a cat pic on my podcast page or something. I don't know. I mean, I have a dog. I don't have a cat, but dog pic could work too.
Yeah, no, dogs do weird shit, man. There's a lot of weird dog videos. You just gotta capture that.
So, I guess how would you describe the songwriting process of your songs, and how long does it take to, I guess, come up with new material?
Honestly, I can't put a time frame on it, just because I feel like for me to be inspired, it kind of just comes and goes. Like there'll be a week where I'm like, whoa, like I'll just pump out all these ideas. But then, you know, for 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, I won't come up with anything. Or I'll hear a melody in my head and I'll make a voice memo real quick and I'll go back to it later. Or sometimes this is weird. My friend's been dealing with this too. She's a songwriter herself, where we'll dream of a song. And it's like the second you wake up, you have to get that melody out or that hook out, and basing it off that. So I feel like all your creativity is just locked up in here, you know, and it comes out whenever it feels like it.
More intuitive, right? Yeah.
Yeah, or, you know, fucking Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys, he's a fucking animal when it comes to songwriting. Like, pumps out, he'll write and finish like 3 songs in a day. I don't know if you heard of his side project, The Arcs.
I think it sounds familiar, yeah.
Worth checking out. But he was talking about it on Joe Rogan's podcast, where like it's just him and his friends, and they would meet up and just write and record maybe 3 or 4 songs in a day and just let it sit. But then after months and years of this, he found out they had like 75 songs in a folder, so they just dropped an album. I was like, oh shit. But he's just, some people like him are just freaks of nature when it comes to music. They're really in tune with it. And I admire that so much.
And as far as writing lyrics, what inspires your lyrics?
Life, feelings, you know, how it felt. I wrote during a time where I was going through like a breakup and kind of reintroducing myself into like the dating scene, and, you know, being scorned by that as well. So it was a tumultuous time. So that's where that album grew out of that. And so yeah, just life experiences. That's why I want to travel more, because it really, you draw inspiration from being in new cultures, new places, meeting new people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say life is my answer, you know.
And does writing with pen and paper sort of add to it, or is that
I like the aspect of just scrolling something down real quick. Sometimes I work as a waiter on weekends, so I'll write down some lyrics on scrap paper, or I'll just write thoughts, you know. Because that idea of, I think it's called free writing, where you just start writing and then, you know, your feelings just start pouring into it somehow out of nowhere, like subconsciously. So our stream of consciousness, I think, is the term. I'm not sure. But...
And I guess what would you say is your goal as a musician?
I want to do the rock star thing, man. You know, it's like anyone else, I guess. Obviously, there's no guarantees, so I'm building my backup. I'm still in school. I do marketing in a law firm. You know, so I'm taking the safe route, but the ultimate goal is just touring full time, magazine covers, whatever. You know.
And what advice would you give to other aspiring musicians out there?
Just keep creating, keep working at your craft, care about what you do. You know, I think people, when you're passionate about what you're making as far as art, even if it's visual art, sound, graphic design, I think people, they notice that, and they kind of respect it. And when you pour yourself into something, people recognize that. And I think there's a lot of value in that. So that's my advice. Just keep working at your craft and just be true to yourself with it, and put your all, you know. Why? Well, that applies to anything though. Have pride in what you do. If you're taking shits, take the best shit ever. If you're or Will Smith said it best, something about being a bricklayer, like laying each brick, like this is the best brick I've ever laid. And so, yeah.
Writing a bunch of stuff and maybe not all of it's good, but just keeping what's good is what you're
Well,
saying.
keep that out. I mean,
Yeah.
you still create, you exercise that creative
Yeah.
muscle, you know, so, and who knows? I mean, you take your shit takes off, you could put out, you know, a bunch of B-sides, like throwaway tracks that you might hate, but, you know, your
Yeah.
fans might love. So there's that too. You know, there's
Yeah.
things that you'll start writing and you'll be like, whoa, this is the shit. And then 2 days later, you'll be like, ew, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
so it's interesting. I mean, creating in general is just, it's so important to life, whether, no matter what medium, whether you're an interior decorator. I mean, that's dope. Art is so amazing and so important, and I feel like it's just so underappreciated now, which is a shame. But hey, nothing I could do.
Yeah. And what can you say, I guess, about I guess arts? Do you think art has a responsibility, I guess, to reflect the times or anything, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to Christopher Stillman for a second. He said it best, where he's looking at right now is a really good time for music. He made the correlation that whenever it's a tumultuous time in politics, music and art really, you know, creativity soars, and there's a lot of inspiration there. So I think now more than ever, people are really like, it's a weird time, man. It's a weird fucking time. Without going into any politics right now, it's a crazy time. But I mean, I guess the same could be said about, you know, the '60s and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that Christopher Stillman's point is, I see it. It makes sense.
And is there anything else maybe we didn't cover, or any, I guess, final thoughts or anything you'd like to say?
No, I mean, thank you for having me. First.
Oh yeah, no problem. And I guess if you want to plug your website and everything else,
Yeah, no, I mean, my site has everything: music, videos, information. All my social media links are there at www.dyoungnj.com, and that's it. Shout out to Wix. Great content management system, helps me build a beautiful looking site. It's super easy to use. But yeah, just dyoungnj.com. Everything's there.
okay. So there's the interview. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to keep updated with future episodes of BSing with Sean K, go to bsingwithseank.blogspot.com, and there's a link to my Twitter, my Facebook, and my YouTube, and also a link to my RSS feed so you can subscribe to my feed. And that about does it for this episode. So I'll catch you on the next one.